valiant effort. Yeah.
All right, we're here for the dam tour. The dam tour. We have to drive clear up here. Tour starts there. This is us on the bus,
Okay,
taking the Grand Coulee Dam Tour.
Things is this. They did a study. They knew that a dam would be good here. They wanted to do the irrigation. But the Corps of Engineers who did the survey said there's going to be two big problems you face. One, where are you going to get all the money? It's going to be expensive. Two, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Where are you going to get all the workers? What's going to change things is this. It'll start basically in 1929. You guys know what it is, right?
Yep.
Stock market crash, we go into the Great Depression. By 1933, we are at the height of the Great Depression. Franklin Roosevelt, he's elected in 32, he becomes president, and he wants to get people back to work. And one way he's going to do this is with massive projects like the Grand Coulee Dam or the Tennessee Valley Authority dams. So they're basically hiring a bunch of people to do it. They're also ordering a lot of stuff from around the country. Back then, when he started, 25% unemployment. It varies, though. My family's from Toledo, Ohio. They had 80% unemployment because it's all automotive. So things would get bad, and he wants to try to make things better. Again, you probably heard his speech when he first took office. You have nothing to fear but fear itself. So he wants to try to give people hope and confidence. And that's what they're doing here with the dam. Now, a few things they need to do, though, to build the dam. Also, as we're turning on this left turn, if you can see across on the other side, you can see those big pipes going up on the hillside. We'll talk about those when we get over to the pump generation plant. But a couple things they got to build first. They have to build towns. There was nothing here. This side, this is called Mason City back then. Today it is the town of Coulee Dam, as is across the river. This is prefab housing. If you look around the streets, you can see some of it, some of the original houses. Prefab, this is where the contractors lived. It was all electric, which is really new for the area. Eventually, they'll have 8,000 workers or more working here. Not all of them will live here, though. Some will live other places. Some will live in Grand Coulee or Delano, some of the other little towns that pop up. Now, across the river where we're going to go, that is where the engineers lived. The government workers, it's a show town. All the houses really well built, and they want people to see how special electricity will be. Give them hope. Now, if you look to your left as we're getting ready to cross the bridge, you'll see a big white bucket. That's one of the concrete buckets here. Eventually, with the original dam, it's a little about 10.5 million cubic yards of concrete they'll pour. Each one of those buckets weighs 8 tons when it's loaded up. With the building of the third powerhouse, it is now 12 million cubic yards in the dam. They also brought in the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. They brought in the dirt, planted the grass, planted the trees, built a park, built swimming pools. Again, they want people to see the benefits. During the Great Depression, thousands of people came here, which is amazing because we are out in the middle of nowhere. Now, to build the dam, unlike Hoover, where they bore into a canyon wall to move the river, we can't do that here. But what they did do was coffer dams. They're going to build a temporary dam out the river, basically with steel pipe, steel sheeting. They fill it up with dirt. It's going to move the river. They're going to go to the riverbank, river bottom, get down to the granite. They'll start blasting, smoothing it out, getting ready to go. They have to move quickly. Springtimes are when the floods come down. They can take out the coffer dams. So they got to move quick. So they're pouring concrete as fast as they can. Most of the forms are about 50 feet wide, 50 feet long, and about 5 feet deep. Anybody here ever worked with concrete? What do you guys remember about it?
You gotta move fast.
Got to move fast, it gets hot.
Yep.
And here, because they got to move fast and they don't have a lot of time, they cheat. So they pour it, but they're going to have 2,000 miles of 1.5-inch pipe. They run cold river water through it. So it's going to cool off the concrete faster so they can pour more quicker. Just think of it stacking Legos, and that's exactly what they're doing. Once they finish on one side, they'll move to the next. And eventually, by 1941, the dam will be 550 feet tall. 500 feet thick at the base. It's huge, right? But they didn't have everything quite ready by 41. They do have the left powerhouse going with only a couple of the generators in it. World War is going to be now going another place. They do bring in some other generators as well, but the power is going to places like Seattle for planes. It's going to places like Hanford to make plutonium. So things do change. So what's going to have to wait is the irrigation for what this dam was built for. They won't get around to that till the 1950s. Our first stop will be the pump generation plant. We'll unload, so when we unload, just watch your step. The curbs here are high. I don't know why, but they are very high. Also, too, I'll point it out, and we'll talk about it really briefly when I get out, just in case Brandon doesn't answer the question for them, because everybody wants to know this thing to the right. Also, to notice that on the roadway there are tracks, and you might be wondering what was parked there. All right, we're just going to pull in here. What I'll have you guys do is
America. All right. This is the big turbine.
today you guys are welcome
inside.
to take as many photographs as you want. Just a few things do not take photographs of: security officers, gates, or the thing that's right above my head right off of the dam. Though we're actually in two different counties.
These things are
So
huge.
right where we'll stop today is half of it's Grand County.
Big that is.
And it's carved out during the Ice Age floods. We dam it on both ends. We pump the water up. Each one of these pumps 1 billion gallons of water a day if need be. So we fill it up, and by canals, thousands of miles of canals and ditches and wastewaterways and all that, we're going to irrigate around 700,000, it may be more now, acres. They grow 60 different crops down on the basin. I'll tell you a little bit about the Columbia River Treaty, because everybody wants to know, why is there no water coming off the top of the dam? 1940s, we had really bad floods. So we make a treaty with Canada, British Columbia. They hold back floodwater up north with 3 dams. So the floodwater's held up there. If we need more water, we call up to them. Another reason is this: we built a third powerhouse in the 1960s because of that. We'll have a steady supply of water. They're going to blow off a big big chunk of the dam, and they're going to build the third powerhouse. They had another reason too with the powerhouse. The Russians had built 3 big dams on the Volga River that had huge generator, bigger than the ones in our original powerhouses. The originals here have, each one of the powerhouses has 9 125 megawatt generators. Theirs were bigger. We were going to show them up. But that's when we found out the only place on the earth that makes those generators that big was Russia. They offered to sell them, but we didn't want them. But GE Canada came through, and today those are rated at 805 megawatt. There's 3 of those. There are 3 nearly 700 megawatt generators that were built by Westinghouse. They use a lot of water. The other thing is this: because it's been so dry the past few years in British Columbia, that's where this water is coming from. That's why the gates have not been down in the springtime. Past few years, they've only been open a couple of days. However, every night now, till the end of September, at night, 10 o'clock at night to begin with, we barely open them up, and then we do a laser light show. So if you want to see them, just come by. Now, Lake Roosevelt off to the right there goes 151 miles to Canada. Now, also too, what I want you guys to do is also remember, when we get out, do look both ways. Occasionally, even on a Sunday, there's traffic on the bridge. But when you look over on the other side, there's another 200 feet of dam underwater that you're not seeing. Also too, if you do see some fish along the base, they look like they're a little tiny, but each one of those outlet ports down there is 8 feet in diameter. So those fish are big.
All right. They used to let people drive across this until 9/11, and then they stopped since. So now the only way to get on the bridge is to take the tour. This is where they let the water out last night for the laser show. the other side of Roosevelt Lake. There you can see they're pumping the water out to Banks Lake. And this is Roosevelt. When they do the laser light show, he said, they just barely let the water out. Look, you can see where they carved the... Is that beautiful or what? Nice. These are our tour buses. It's kind of nice. Alright, this is the sand left over from building the dam. There's the visitor center. We were in that grassy area last night for the laser show.
Did you like and subscribe? Thanks!